Yes, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you about, deep diving and root analysis of issues that small businesses face. Looking at the four options of cash flow, slow sales, team issues, and pricing, which are all interlinked to some degree. I'm going to have a quick chat again about slow sales. So I think one of the first things I'd want to understand is, capacity and where they are now and what that gap looks like. Reviewing best practice, how they're currently addressing their leads process and what they currently do. So, but really identifying where they are at the moment, the current state, where they want to be and what that gap is. And then I think it breaks down into three different areas: leads, quality of the leads, and also their conversion practices. So the first things I'll be looking at is where are they getting their leads from? Are they getting enough leads to actually be successful? And from there, we would break that down. So we would go into, where are they getting their leads from? What sort of avenues they're targeting, whether it be Google ads or local ads? What's the audience they're trying to target? And does the message that they're actually having the ads actually talk to that audience? What's their conversion from the different places where they're running ads as well? So really look at, what's got the best conversion, best bang for buck, so we can reduce that, cost per acquisition. Also look at how do people send leads, so how easy are they to contact? Have they provided lots of different avenues for people to send leads, so whether it be SMS, whether it be text, whether it be via phone, whatever that looks like. Do they have a referral program going? Are they generating leads from referrals and existing customers, which is often forgotten within business? And what's their repeat customer strategy? How do they actually generate more from the repeat customers? From a quality perspective, I'd want to start looking at, again, leading back to leads, what products are we advertising or services are we advertising? Is it the product and service that makes you the most money that you really want to do? Or is your advertising generating leads that is not necessarily the product that's going to generate the highest revenue for you? So having a look at that sort of aspect. Where are they servicing as far as quality goes? And one of the biggest issues I see with trades is the amount of travel time. I'll take any job, I'll take it anywhere, and they add to their, costs by increasing travel. So really want to look at, are you targeting businesses and getting leads close to where your office is or close to where your employees live? Or are you, just going anywhere and taking everything you get, which reduces, obviously, your ability to service more leads. So that's going to affect your capacity. From a conversion perspective, and I think this is often forgotten from a business perspective, you want to look at what impacts conversion. And one of the things that impacts conversion outside of people actually getting to you is your reputation management. And are people actually deciding to contact you before they pick up the phone and making a decision that you're not the business they want to go with? So we would want to look at that. I would definitely want to deep dive into their quote process. How do leads come in? How do you provide quotes? What's the format? What's the process? Who's involved? What time does that take to get that quote back? And how do you follow up on quotes? Because often that gets missed as well. I want to make sure it's easy for people to provide quote, to request a quote through different form fills and different avenues. Look at that. I'd be wanting to look at the website, the bounce rate. When people come onto your website, again, how many people go through the process to complete for a quote as opposed to bouncing out on their website. And really tracking those sales as well. So if we have people that decide not to go ahead with us, what are we doing about it? How do we find out where we missed that opportunity? Was it price? Was it service? Was it just timing? And then a big aspect of that is also looking at sales. What's the sales skill? Are we trying to close customers on those calls? How do we improve that? The second part of, this exercise was to look at language and talking to customers and how do I convince people to move forward with ideas and take on board coaching. I look at, and I've written a bit of some one-liners here and things I think about whenever I'm talking to customers. And it's things like using the word we a lot in the conversation, because when I speak to customers, I do treat them like it's my business and I let them know that. I create pathways, sustainable pathways where, if we want to get from A to B, there's often quite, a number of steps in amongst that to get there. And we have to take the first one or two steps. So using language like, would you like to take the first two steps today or just the first one? I'll generally always tell people that I'm here to tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And that change is required if we're going to move forward. So, it's not if but when. So the only thing holding people back sometimes is the the ability to make a decision. I often ask people if I can wave a magic wand and you could fix one or two things in your business now, it would be simple. What would that be? Just to get my head around what they're thinking where they need to improve. Obviously the question of why not. Sometimes asking people, talking about the impact of these changes, because change does have impacts and some people are resistant to that. But then talking about what the impact of this changes will mean, towards their end goal. And of course, that end goal is their vision for the future. What does it look like if we're successful? What does that mean to them from a time perspective? What does it mean to them from a revenue perspective? What does it mean to them from a productivity perspective? And of course, I stand by what I suggest and recommend. So 100%. We put these things in place. We're going to make some difference to your business. I hope that ticks a few boxes for you, and look forward to speaking more to you.